UFO Racing League is a game of three-dimensional racing. In the game, players race their UFOs through an abandoned space station that is built as the game progresses. Let's look at the tiles that make up this space station. Each tile is broken up into spaces, and each space has a floor as well as a ceiling. The floor is represented by the color of the space itself, while the ceiling is represented by the color along the edge of that section of the tile. Numbers corresponding to those colors are written on the sides of the track and can also be looked up on each player's control panel. The UFOs themselves sit on stands, which allow them to change elevation. 7 slots representing the 7 elevations in the game. A UFO at elevation 3 would be in the 3rd slot from the bottom. In this way, more than one UFO can actually live in the same space by slotting a different UFO into a different elevation. UFOs always need to be careful when moving along the track when elevations change, either floors or ceilings. Whenever crossing a color barrier, either on the floor or in the ceiling, they should check their elevation to make sure that they are in an allowed elevation in the new section. If not, they hit a wall, either above or below the gap of this track section they were trying to enter. Now let's talk about movement. On a normal turn, everyone will get 4 chips. That is the energy that they gain this turn. They will place those chips somewhere in the bottom half of their control panel. These 4 spaces here, representing movement in the horizontal direction. These 2 spaces, representing vertical elevation changes. You can also save energy for later by placing it in the battery. This turn, red is going to take 2 chips and place it here for some movement, and save 2 in the battery for next turn. When everyone is ready, screens are removed, and chips are moved from the bottom half to the top half of the control panel. Battery chips remaining where they are. Now the fastest UFO will move. Red only has 2 chips up here, and is not the fastest. Yellow is actually the fastest. Yellow has 4 chips, 3 here, and 1 going down. When yellow moves, yellow will pick a pile of chips, move that many spaces or change elevation that much, and then pick a different pile and continue until all speed has been moved. In this turn, yellow is going to move these 3 spaces first. 1, 2, 3. Then, yellow is going to change elevation by moving their UFO down 1 notch on their stand. So yellow's turn is over. Black has 3 chips, moving 2 this way, and then 1 this way. Red is only moving 2 spaces in that direction. And this is where they end at the end of the first turn. The next turn will start pretty similar. Everyone will grab their screen. Most everyone will get 4 chips to start. But in this case, note that red had 2 chips in their battery. Red gets to add that to their 4 chips, so they have 6 chips to play with this turn. Some or all of those can go back in the battery. But remember that red also left 2 chips at the top of their compass rose. That is speed that red is moving, and that speed does not go away by itself. So the chips that will be added to the bottom half of red's control panel this turn will be added, or maybe subtracted, from the chips already up there to control their speed. Let's look at some examples. So here's the beginning of our next turn. On this turn, red put 4 chips on the right side. Moved up, it is simply added to the 2 they already have there. Red will now be moving 6 in that direction. Yellow added some more speed in that direction as well, but also put 1 on the up part of the vertical axis. Now yellow has 2 chips on opposite sides of the same axis. What we do now is we remove chips from both sides of the axis until chips remain on only one side, or in this case, there are no chips remaining on the axis. What this means is that yellow has effectively reduced their speed to 0, going up or down. Black, this turn, just put everything in their battery. Now notice that yellow also put a chip on the initiative track. On your turn, you can put a chip either on the plus initiative or the bottom initiative. This means this short circuits the normal faster goes first rule. So in this case, yellow would go before any other ship that did not place a chip in the plus initiative side, even though red has 6 chips to yellow's 4. Yellow moves their 4. Red then moves their 6. Now red's decided that they are in a dangerous position, running straight up against that wall next turn. So red's going to take advantage of another rule. At any time before or after you move a pile of chips, you may take one energy from your battery and place it anywhere on your upper compass rose, and then immediately move it. So red is going to place it there and move this way a space. This can be used to correct errors, hit UFOs as you go by, or generally keep yourself out of trouble. And then black will move 2 spaces and 1. You can also now see some strategic options that are unveiling. Red and yellow do not have a lot in their battery, but are going very fast and are out ahead. Black has stowed a lot of energy in their battery for later, but is falling behind. One strategy in the game is to save your resources for later and use them at a strategic time, and another strategy is to just go fast and hope no one can catch up with you. Now let's look at collisions. There are 2 kinds of collisions: collisions with walls and collisions with other UFOs. Let's talk about red first. Red is going to hit a wall. Red has 3 speed in this direction, which will run into this wall immediately, and 6 speed down, which will run into this wall in 2 spaces. Red's decided to move down first. They move 2 spaces that direction. In this case, we're carefully noting that we've moved 2 speed already, and 4 has not been moved. That will become important. But the next thing we do is red takes a stun. This means that red will only get 3 energy next turn, although that resets after every turn. Now, red takes half of their energy in this direction, and it goes away. In this case, we take it away from speed red has not yet moved. If there wasn't enough speed red hasn't moved, we would take it away from speed red had moved. Then, if there's any speed left over, you flip it to the other end of the axis, because red bounces off the wall. We see that red still has 1 speed left to move in that direction, so it does that. It's actually underneath black, but red's now going to move 3 more spaces this way. 1, 2, 3 to end up there. Not too bad. Now let's look at black. Black's going to move next. Black has got 4 speed in this direction towards yellow, which he would hit, and 1 speed this way. Black could move this way first, avoiding yellow, but black's decided to hit yellow instead. Black moves 1 space before running into yellow. Now, when you run into another UFO, that UFO takes the stun. So yellow takes a stun and will only get 3 chips next turn. Black then gives half of the 4 speed it had in this direction and gives it to yellow in the same direction. Yellow immediately moves those 2 spaces. Think of this as one pool ball hitting another pool ball and pushing it along. Now that yellow is done moving those 2 spaces, we go back to black. Black still has a speed to go in this direction, so it moves there. Then it moves down, or this way, 1 space. Now it's yellow's turn. Yellow's already moved those 2 speed, but now has 3 speed of her own to move. 1, 2, 3. Yellow keeps the speed that it gained, and so now has 5 in that direction as it heads toward the corner. And that's how collisions work. As the race progresses, more tiles will be added. A normal race will go through a start tile, and then 3 more tiles. Tiles can include all kinds of ups and downs, as well as some special features like bouncy walls that do not reduce speed when hit. weak walls that disappear when hit, spiky walls that do extra stun when hit, and gravity fields that affect your movement next turn when you land on them. The first UFO to exit the fourth tile of the race is the winner.